This is the Impressions Exchange Podcast. Where all topics impacting the graphic imaging and printing industry are addressed via in-depth news coverage, analysis, and timely interviews.
Hi, I'm Denise Gustavson, Editorial Director for NAPCO Media and the guest host for this special Printing Impressions podcast series in celebration of Women's History Month, highlighting the women in the printing industry. During this series, I'll have the opportunity to talk with women from all segments of the industry about their experiences and their journey as a woman. So today, it's my pleasure to welcome Madison Bailey, owner of SpeedPro Wilmington, Delaware. So Madison, welcome.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure to have you here. So as we're getting started, could you tell me a little bit about your current company and your role there?
Sure. Obviously, I'm the owner of SpeedPro Wilmington. We've been in business since 2012. I was the production manager here for quite some time. And as of May 2019, I took over the business and became the owner. So it's, I guess, coming up on 3 years now.
Hey, congratulations on that. Now, was printing something you always wanted to get and be a part of?
No, not really. I went to school for digital media. I really wanted to be a graphic designer, but when I graduated, I found a job at a local sign shop in printing. I found out that it was something that I enjoyed doing every day. So it was kind of a surprise. It wasn't, I didn't have planned that I was going to work in the printing industry. It just kind of happened that way.
So you kind of fell into it, but so far so good, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, you said that the role previous to owner, you were doing something else within the SpeedPro. So can you talk a little bit about, your roles within the printing industry?
Sure. At SpeedPro, I was the production manager. At the time, it was just the previous owner and myself. So I found myself doing, running the shop and that kind of thing. The old owner actually got sick. He got ill. He had kind of like a minor heart attack and couldn't be here. So I kind of, had to take on more roles than just doing production. So I was a little thrown into it. And at that point, he decided he wanted to retire, and it just made sense for me to take over. Outside of printing, I've really had as a, real actual job. I've only had a job in marketing. I probably did marketing for, I left printing for probably 2.5 years and did marketing. And I'm really happy with that decision. I think that I learned a lot about marketing. I learned that it's not something I want to do forever, but I did learn, ways to bring in business that helps our company now.
Yeah, it's
not regretful by any means.
Yeah, it's great to have that background because it's only going to help you as you're running your business, marketing yourself, and as you're working with other clients, you can suggest things to them as well, which is always very beneficial.
Right.
Now, what would you say would be one of the things that helped you the most to get where you are today? Is there a person? Is there a certain resource that you've used?
I wouldn't say there was a specific person. I didn't really have anyone to teach me the printing industry. Like I said, I kind of threw myself into it. I didn't have any prior business knowledge, like zero, none whatsoever. So I think in the long run, that helped me learn pretty quickly. When you don't have someone to show you how to do something, you're forced to become a problem solver and figure things out on your own. But I would say, however, that my husband has been like my number one supporter. He's the one who originally encouraged me and told me that, I could be a business owner and a successful one at that. And he was right.
And it's awesome to have that kind of supporter as well for you to have that, because if you don't have that cheerleader behind you, sometimes you'll doubt yourself or you.
Sure, and I did. And I think that's pretty natural. Well, what if this happens? What if this happens?
Yeah. So awesome. Now, as a woman, you're a woman business owner, have there been any challenges that you've had to overcome because of your gender?
So I wouldn't say, I have more challenges than the average male does. Maybe because I'm a woman, people are skeptical of doing business with us, but I think our customer service and our quality of work it's really unmatched here. And my team and I, we come in every day and we just do, we do what we do best, and, which is printing. And I think it proves ourselves to that maybe small group of individuals who might be skeptical. Really, I think every business owner has their own set of challenges, no matter what gender or race they are, for that matter.
Yeah. And there's probably always a certain percentage of people that walk into a business, whether, it's male, female, whatever, they could be skeptical. I don't know if this business is the right fit for me, and my work. So, that's probably not untypical, I guess you could say.
Right.
Have you had to choose between having a career and having a family? I know that can be a touchy subject for women, but it's something that we all have to think about. Is that a choice that, women today are still having to make?
It's definitely a choice, but I choose to both work and be a mother. I think it's all about balance. I do run a very successful business, but I also have 4 little girls at home who, they rely on me heavily, and, that's really what's most important when it comes down to it to me. So,
yeah. 4 little girls. Wow. You are definitely busy.
Yeah, for sure. They keep me on my toes. So
definitely. And it helps to have, a partner with you that can help with you and help, having that support. And I think that's where it also comes, that support becomes really, really important to a woman in a leadership role in any business, whether it's printing or otherwise, is to have that support system.
For sure.
To help. And that's just true wherever. Obviously, you're a working mom. So have you had to, how do you approach that kind of stereotype as a working mom? Or sometimes it's also when women are very assertive, they could be thought of in very poor terms as well. So, how do you deal with that? How do you approach that?
The simple answer is I don't deal with it.
Okay, yeah.
I just let people think what they want to think. There's going to be stereotypes no matter what you choose, in business and life. And I just, at the end of the day, do what I think's best for my family. And, those kind of people simply just aren't worth my time, really. So,
yeah, that's a really good attitude to have, because, your work stands for itself as well.
Yeah,
so,
I think
what
so.
you're doing. The industry as a whole it's been difficult to get women to come into the industry, whether it's in packaging, whether it's in wide format, it doesn't matter. Print is still very, very heavily male. So the question is, how do you think the industry as a whole can appeal to more women? Or is there something that individual print shops can do to help with that?
I don't know. I would just say if it's even something that you're interested in as a woman, go for it. Don't be afraid to take that risk. And if you think it's something that you can't handle, you totally can, just as well as a man, if not better.
It's proof. This whole series and talking to the women that I'm talking to in March, it proves that women can do it. They're in owners, they're in leadership roles.
Yeah. I'm really interested in hearing, who else you talk to and their stories and that kind of thing. I think it's going to be really cool. So,
yeah, it's one of those things to be able to celebrate women and what they've been able to accomplish and what they've really been able to do. It's really, it's exciting, and it's heartening to be able to see all of that as I'm talking to folks this month.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, if you were starting again, if you were starting over and you're getting right into the printing industry, what advice would you give yourself? Is there something you would tell yourself, as you're just starting out?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be a risk taker and reinvest in your business. This industry with all the technology, it's constantly evolving. And I think it's really important to keep up with the technology in this business. And that can be something that sets you apart from, other business owners in the printing industry. Just having the equipment and the power of technology, really.
And also, I would imagine not to be afraid of learning and to keep educating.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll be the first person to tell you I'm learning every single day.
All right, Madison, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate talking with you, and I'm looking forward to talking with you again as you move and you grow in your career.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
All right, thanks again.